Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you're having a blessed day, having a good Sunday, having a good 4th of July weekend. You know, today I decided to go for a little bit of a drive, just to get out of the house, just to, I don't know, clear some thoughts and get some energy out of the system. And you know, what strikes me anymore is that it just seems like so much of the world and so much of the things in this world are just getting uglier and uglier. And modern architecture, for example, you know, modern architecture, cars, music. I mean, it just seems like there's a lack of character to so much of the new stuff that's being created today. And I honestly wonder why this is, but it's just ugly, man. I just feel like things are getting increasingly more and more ugly. They're lacking character more and more as the years go on. You know, modern homes, modern everything. I don't necessarily want to say everything, but just so much is just it's just ugly, you know? Why is so much modern architecture look the same? Why are so many houses that are built now gray and they just look bland and boring? And it's like this modern style, but like there's nothing pretty about it. There's nothing visually pleasing to the eye about these homes that you see. These new homes, and everything is it's just bland. It's boring. You know, all these new cars, they lack any kind of aesthetic. They're all very bubbly looking, you know. They almost all look the same, you know. Oh well, they have better aerodynamics. Okay, sure, but I mean, look at the old cars, man. I mean, the old cars, that was cool, you know. And I don't really care if they had worse aerodynamics. They just looked cool. They had character. They had class. You could set them apart from each other, and a lot of them looked different. You know, they just had a cooler look and style to them. I think the boxier look to a car is just a better overall look. And they didn't have all these electronics in them. They weren't so complicated, so you could have them last a long while. You know, you could have them work for long periods of time because the inner workings of those cars, they were simple, you know, and it was simple enough that your average owner of that car could learn some of the things to fix their car. And now so many cars are super complicated. They may be a combustion engine car, but they have all these electronics. And you can't really work on it and fix it unless you're a specialist yourself or if you take it into a specialist. You know, I don't really see in the future, you know, people like 30 years from now, people are going to look back at like a 2013 Honda and go, wow, you know, what a piece of art. Look at that car. That thing's so cool. You know, like I don't think that's going to happen. I think those cars are just going to easily be discarded, you know, because they don't really have that same character to them that the older cars had. You know, and why is so much modern music? You know, why does it lack character? You know, and I'm not one of those guys that thinks all music being made today is shit. It's obviously not. There's a lot of good music being made out there. You just have to look a little bit harder for it. But you're not going to find it when you turn on FM radio, unless you have a station in your local town or city that plays that kind of music. Most of them don't. But it's out there. But when you turn on FM radio and you listen to what's new, it's shit, man. I mean, it's fucking garbage. Let's be real with ourselves here. The shit is fucking trash. It's all either, you know, the same beat. It's all auto-tuned. There's really hardly any real instrumentation in there. There's no guitars. There's no bass. There's not even real drums. I mean, There isn't even really like a verse chorus or a bridge like there used to be in a lot of songs. It's so simple. So many of these songs you can listen to them to, there isn't even any transition. It's just the same consistent beat all the way through, and it's boring. And it doesn't even sound like a human made it. I swear to God, a robot makes this kind of music. And so, why is it that so much music is like that? I mean, why is so much turning this way? You know? There's people out there that will say, well, that there's this, grand conspiracy to make everything ugly, and so they can, hurt your soul and make you feel uninspired and all this stuff. But even if there may be that, if I were to give my opinion on why everything I think is turning ugly out there, why so much architecture is turning to shit, all this shit, is because I think there's something going on with people's internal world. I don't think humans these days, most people, are capable of creating the things that even people 3-4 generations ago were capable of doing. I just don't think there's that same imagination. I don't think there's that same drive or creativity in people anymore. That seems to be super lacking, because you see it in all kinds of things. And I can't sit there and say it's a part of some greater plan. I think it really honestly is a reflection of people's internal world. What people find good, what people don't find good. What people think they're capable of, and what they don't think they're capable of. If you go back and you were to look at this old architecture, stuff that was built centuries ago, yeah, it took a long ass time to build, but I guarantee you, man, the people that built those things, most of them are like illiterate peasants. Illiterate peasants. And nowadays we have all this technology, we have all this stuff that can do incredible stuff with computers and CNC routers. You could build beautiful things. You could build incredible things. And some people do. People that oftentimes, are building their own custom home, they do this. But you don't see it that often. Most new homes that are being built, most of these cookie cutter style homes, they're ugly, man. They're ugly. They're boring. Both inside and out. And so, I don't know, man. Clearly, I'm not the only one that observes this, but I just drive around where I live and all these new houses and new buildings. There's nothing very visually pleasing about them. There's nothing that I look at there and think, wow, what a stunning piece of work that is. Man, even like the street lights, like every one of them is like this LED color now, where they used to kind of have this orange yellow glow to them. Like every one in my town has been replaced with these LED, white lights. Not that that is like that big of a deal, but the orange and yellow light, it has more warmth to it. Like when you're cruising around at night and you're going by all these street lights, they're all like this white fluorescent color light. Whereas in the past they were, more of an orange, kind of yellowish color. And I don't know, like if I were to run the world and have a say over that, I would prefer the orange and yellowish kind versus the super bright fluorescent style kind that seem to be everywhere now. And so I don't know, man. The world, the things in this world, the things being created, the things being built, the music being made that is being marketed to us in mass, things really just seem to have less style to them, less of the creative side to them, less of the... They just have less character. Less character. And so I don't know why this is, but if I were to really give my take, I honestly think people's internal world is just kind of in a weird place right now. I think a lot of people think and they feel they're not capable of a lot, and so they just kind of settle for the bare minimum. And this goes in what they create, this goes in what they settle for in life, this goes into a lot of things. And I think there's a lot of people out there right now that feel this way over a lot of things for a lot of different reasons. And this is honestly a separate video in itself. And so you start to see it manifest in the real physical world. And I think that's what we're seeing. But I don't know. If anybody sees this, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this too. So, and man, another thing that's been on my mind is what the hell is up with all these electric bikes? What the hell is going on with all these people with these electric motorized bicycles? Everybody seems to have one here. And it just seems like very recently, like this year, everybody's got one of these things. Very few people seem to actually ride an actual bike anymore. Like nobody is riding a real bike around town. They're all on these electric mopeds, is what they are essentially. The only difference is that they have pedals. But think about this, man. Think about this. Riding a bike. Okay, I remember when I was a kid and I started riding my bike. You know, the most fun part about riding a bike was you're at the top of the hill and you're about to go all the way down, where you just cruise on down the hill. And it's fun and it's freeing and it's exciting and it's just thrilling. But you had to earn it. You had to earn it. If you wanted to go down the hill, you had to go up the hill. And so what'd you do to have to go up the hill? You had to pedal up the hill. And pedaling up the hill, depending on how in shape you are, you know, what experience you have riding a bike, it's hard. It's hard. You know, it's good cardio. You start to feel it in your lungs. Your legs start to burn. It's tiring. But when you get to the top of the hill and when you go down the hill, there's something very rewarding about that. There's something super rewarding about it. And these people with these electric bikes are not, they're not experiencing the struggle that is necessary when it comes to riding a bike. And really, I'm going to compare this. They aren't experiencing the struggle that is necessary in life to get the things they want. Everybody wants to do the easy things, right? But nobody wants to do the hard things. And as the saying goes, your life will be hard if you constantly do the easy things. But your life will be easy if you do the hard things. And all these people, all these kids with these electric bikes, cruising around town, never having to pedal up a hill. All they have to do is just hit their electric switch and just cruise on up the hill. They don't have to pedal. They're going to be weak as shit, man. Weak as shit. And they're not going to know the struggle that's necessary in your life, particularly in your developmental years as you're a kid, growing up, developing a personality, developing character, doing things that are hard. Physically, they're really gonna miss out on a huge chunk of that. Because things have gotten so easy for so many people, and so many people have chosen comfort And so many of the younger kids I'm seeing, at least in my town, are choosing that too. You know, I hardly see any kids who are in their teens riding around on an actual bike. They all have these electric scooters and electric bikes. And something is just really annoying about it. So, get a real fucking bike. Get a real fucking bike and pedal your lazy ass. Don't be so lazy, man. Don't be so lazy. Embrace the challenges in life. Embrace the hardship. Embrace the physical discomfort. It's good for you. It'll make you stronger. It'll give you some character. It'll help build a personality. So I don't even know what I'm rambling on about here, or how this even really ties into what I started talking about. Why is everything becoming so ugly? And I think I came to the conclusion. People are not pushing themselves enough in this world. Everybody wants comfort. And we have so much comfort in the modern world that I think all this comfort that we've experienced in our lives, and that so many people around us just seem to continually be drifting towards, I think it's hurting our creativity. I think it's hurting our creativity. I think when you pick what's hard physically, I think when you pick what is easy physically, when you pick what is easy mentally, you just kind of lose that creative edge to you. You just lose that edge to you in general. And you kind of just allow yourself to be carried away by this world. And you're just more soft. And when you're more soft, you're more impressionable. And you're easier to control. So I think we got to rise above this. You know, I think that the biggest thing we're struggling with in our modern times is comfort, extreme comfort. I think it's upon us to start rejecting these comforts and start embracing things that are hard. Why do we go to the gym? Why do we do these things? I think it's because we want to feel the physical hardship, because it sharpens us. And so we need to start more and more rejecting all this comfort. Not all of it, but rejecting a lot of it. And choosing to be more uncomfortable. Choosing to do what's hard. Because ironically, when you do that, your life gets easier. The world doesn't faze you as much. You're able to face things head on more when you just put yourself through the fire. And so we need to be putting ourselves through the fire more often in this life. And I think if more people did that, I think the physical world, the physical things that are being made, the things that recreate, I think you'd see more beauty in them. I think you would see more beauty in them. And so those are my thoughts. The world doesn't have to be ugly. But goddamn, a lot of things sure seem to be turning ugly. So let's turn that around in our own personal lives. All right. Goodbye. Peace.